gals, and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Hillary, and if you are a returning subscriber, then you must be a crazy hilly, and welcome back. And a Merry Chris Hanukkah Mas and a Happy Ramakwanzadon, because I know I had a great time for Christmas. That's what I celebrate, but if you don't, and you celebrate one of those, well, I hope you guys had a great time. If you guys like my content, feel free to give me a like or subscribe or leave a comment down below. It helps the channel out so much. But let's just get right on into what we're going to talk about today. And what we are going to talk about today is LaLaurie Mansion and Delphine LaLaurie. If you guys have read anything about the ghosts of New Orleans, you have probably heard of LaLaurie Mansion. And me personally, I'm super into the ghosts of New Orleans. I want to go down to New Orleans at some point because it just seems like a rich, vibrant history, not only with ghosts, but a lot of other stuff. So I want to go. The mansion is one of the most popular stops on the New Orleans ghost tours. Although it is privately owned and no one can go in, they do still stop outside and they tell of the ghosts and hauntings that go on there today. A lot of people believe that LaLaurie Mansion is in fact cursed, so they won't even say the name LaLaurie Mansion. They usually call it the Haunted House or 1140 Royal Street. They just refer to it as its address, not the actual name. The lady that lived there and the house that this family is named after, her name was Delphine LaLaurie, and she was some evil lady. What she is most known for is the torture of slaves and the fact that she got caught doing it. There was a great fire in this house and lady got caught doing some really creepy ass shit. Accounts of how Delphine treated her slaves between 1831 and 1834 differ because in public, of course, she was real nice, you know? She walked up, she talked to them really nice, but that's a completely different story from what she did in her mansion behind closed doors. There was a room up on top of this mansion that no one wanted to go to because she would take them up there and they would not come back down. She was, in fact, a serial. Funeral registries from 1830 to 1834 document at least 12 slaves dying in her care. And that may not be an accurate number. You know, back in the day, we're not really sure about how many things were recorded. She could have gotten away with a lot more. But those are just the ones that we know of. And it's not listed how they died. A lot of it could have been infectious disease. But of what we know of her, I can guarantee that, you know, they weren't coughing and just died of pneumonia. I'm pretty sure she stabbed them. A lot of people that even recount tales of this young child who was a slave in the mansion that to avoid being sent to the upstairs actually dove off of the building and unfortunately passed away. And that was because, like, no one wanted to go into the upstairs room, which we're gonna tell you why in a second here before we go into some of the ghostly happenings. Now, while this evil woman was being murderous in her house, on April 10th, 1834, her house actually caught on fire. And the reason it caught on fire was because there was an elderly cook who was chained to the stove and did not want to go into the terror room upstairs that evil Delphine was going to bring her. So she set a fire in the house as a suicide attempt. And you know that's bad when you would rather burn to death than go upstairs into the death room. So upon response, the guys came in to put out the fire and their discovery was pretty gross. So when they had put out the fire, they went into the uppermost room learning about the lady who is chained to the stove, how she didn't want to go into the upstairs room. They decided to investigate, and upon going in, more or less, they found about 7 people tied and stretched by their limbs, horribly mutilated, cut, and had been up there for days and were basically begging to die at this point because they've been tortured in the death room. They were all up there suspended by their throats, and upon seeing all this, there was actually a mob. Like, a bunch of people were not cool with what this crazy lady was doing, right? So they mobbed the house, but unfortunately, this lady, not getting caught by the mob, self-exiled themselves to France, and they ditched their whole house and ran to France. I really hate it when these people are just able to, like, oh, I'm gonna run away. No. What you do to other people is what you should get. Like, especially when you're that evil and you're tying people up by their throats. It's just not cool. Delphine LaLaurie, I really don't care if I get haunted, but like, you're awful. Straight up, you deserved a lot worse than what you got. Like, exile to France, not good enough. She died in 1849 at the age of 62, and it's a little unclear how she died. From what I'm getting, it was a possible boar hunting accident or something like that. Of course, she would be hunting another living animal, you know, being gross. For almost 200 years, there have been reports coming from the mansion that paranormal stuff has been going on. And 200 years is a pretty long time for, like, ghost stuff to be happening, right? A lot of it is attributed to the slaves, obviously, that were mistreated. And a lot of people say that they can hear moaning coming from the specific room where these people were tortured. Also, they supposedly hear phantom footsteps walking in and around the house. And a lot of people that come up on this place have said that they have felt a negative energy. Obviously, I don't know if that's because, you know, they've heard stories about the house before and they just get the heebie-jeebies, because I know I probably would, walking up to a house and knowing that the history was this bad. But it'd be interesting to know, like, if someone didn't know and they just got, like, that chill up their spine, that'd be pretty interesting to me to hear about. Because as it is, I can understand why this would be so... like, why this house would be so haunted, seeing as all the terrible, terrible things. It kind of seems like if there's any sort of unfinished business or something terrible has happened, it's probably going to get haunted. Now, obviously, after all this, the house was sold and rebuilt and so on and so on, and it actually turned into a bunch of apartments. And around in 1894, there was a murder that took place in the house. A man was found dead in his room, and it looked as though it had been a robbery. His whole place was turned upside down, and it was ransacked, although nothing was missing. And before this guy had died, he had talked to his friends about he thought a demon lived there, and it wouldn't stop until it had taken his life. He was having a lot of problems with ghosts and apparitions and all these things inside the house, and this case was never solved. So a lot of people think, you know, it happened because of the demon and it finally took this guy. Whether or not it was actually a murder or what went on, maybe he went so insane that he did it to himself. Nobody really knows. It's really unclear. And then again, it's not like you can get DNA because it's like the 1800s and like, oh, they don't have no DNA. 19th century as well, this was also some sort of girls' school, and, you know, the kids would come up crying with their arms like showing a bunch of bruises and scratches. They could not explain where it came from, but a lot of these kids were also a lot younger, and a lot of people also attributed that to spirits. So, you know, that's already poltergeist people, and if they're coming with bruises and scratches, I really don't think it was the people that was harmed. I would think that that would be the madame herself that, you know, showed up to beat some kids, because sounds like her. There has also been reports of tour guides that would go in and talk about the house. I don't believe go inside, because as far as I know, again, it is privately owned, so they go outside. But while they were talking about it, they felt tugging on their back, and they thought it was like a pickpocket. So they turn around, they're like, what? There's nothing there. They continue telling their story, and then they feel it harder. And the people hearing the story can see this happen. So it's not just like it's the one person feeling it. It's kind of backed up by other people. That was one of the other stories I heard. So it's full on poltergeist activity. Like people are getting scratched, things are getting pulled, and there are screams and moans. And I just feel like it's so sad to think that people that were tortured in life are stuck in this horrible, horrible place, because I would not want to be there. You know, I don't even like talking about it, really. I'm getting just really frustrated when you hear stories like this and there's no way to possibly change the outcome. It's just, this happened. So, yeah. So I don't know. It's up to you guys. What do you guys think? Do you think LaLaurie Mansion is haunted by Delphine LaLaurie and the people that she tortured, or do you think it isn't? Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I would love to hear it. I feel like it probably is, and again, I want to go to New Orleans at some point, but like once quarantine is over, I'll have a list of places that I can go and film for you guys to see. It would be very interesting just to be in the French Quarter, you know what I mean, down there. I want to get some voodoo done. I think it'd be pretty cool. Okay, guys, thank you guys for watching so much. I have merch down below if any of you guys want any t-shirts, masks, any something with my face on it because I'm so pretty. Down below, you can feel free to do that. I also have a Patreon, but you do not feel free. You can donate. You don't have to. It's all up to you guys. But I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.